But more interestingly, Allah didn't just compare this life to lahu, He also compared it to la'ib, to sport, to games, to a match. That's a really interesting comparison, because a match is about competition. You're trying to defeat an opponent. You're literally inside of that, if it's a basketball court or it's a football field, right, or it's a soccer field or something, you're at war with your opponent for those 90 minutes or for those 4 quarters, or for that, in that time, the only focus you have is, I have to defeat this enemy. That's all we have to do. We have to crush this enemy, right? So our life is actually filled with a number of matches. You have a challenge in front of you and you're going at it. You're focused on it. And while that match is happening, nothing else matters. This is all that matters. But the thing with that is, both teams, especially when things get very serious, both teams have athletes that have prepared their entire life to be able to play that match. To get to the professional level, to reach the finals or whatever, right? But only one team is going to win. They can't both win. So all of that work is going to look like it was completely gone to waste after all of that effort, because nobody's going to clap for you for great effort, thanks so much. They'll just put the camera on you because they want to see you cry. And then they'll turn the camera to the winner, right? And everybody's cheering the winner. And this is what this life is. It doesn't matter how hard you try to study for an exam. If you failed, nobody's going to say, great effort, They're going to say, you failed. All that matters is you failed. All those thousands of hours of study and preparation and all of that, none of that matters now. Because the only thing that matters now is that you didn't pass. That's all that matters. And this life is about a series of tests where we either pass or fail, pass or fail, pass or fail, constantly, on and off the field. Whether it's at school, whether it's at work, whether it's in our relationships, whether it's literally on a playground, it's all of these events over and over again. And by comparison, what Allah has given us is something so beautiful. In the same vein, Allah says, وَأَلَّيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى in Surah An-Najm. He says human beings will have nothing except their efforts. He didn't say human beings will have nothing except their accomplishments. He said their efforts. So unlike this life, where the only thing that matters is winning the game, that's the only thing that matters, with Allah, the only thing that matters is the effort. That's what's celebrated, because what does the Quran teach us? Winning and losing actually comes not from people, it comes from Allah. And the only thing that actually comes from people is effort. So the only thing you get credit for is effort. You don't get credit for the victory. إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ. It's attributed to Allah. When the victory from the aid from Allah, and the victory came. Right? So the same way, تِلْكَ الْأَيَّامُ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. When Muslims suffered a defeat in Uhud, Allah said, these are days we flip between people. We flip between people. It's not Muslims lost and the kuffar won. Allah allowed them to have victory, just like Allah allowed the Muslims to have victory in Badr. It's the victory and losses coming from Allah. The effort is the only thing that is going to be commented on. And 60 or so ayat are there in Surah Ali Imran commenting on the loss of Uhud. And all Allah is talking about is what effort could have been made better. Where were the gaps in the effort? And what do we learn from that? And how is it going to modify our efforts? Another important thing about sports, and this analogy of the game, is that games are just another kind of entertainment. But you get so serious inside of a game. It's just, you've just got a controller in your hand, you're smashing some buttons, and there's a virtual thing that's responding to it. You're not dying. The boss is slicing away at you with his giant sword, but you're not the one who's dying. But you could see pain on your face, like, oh my God. And there's you're projecting yourself onto the character, and their loss becomes your loss, and you're slamming things, and oh my God, Mom, why did you call me? You distracted me. And some kids play online games, and it's like they're actually in warfare when they're playing modern warfare. It's really passionate, and similar to sports fans that are watching a game, especially with the Football World Cup. People are watching a game and they're so riled up. And if their team wins, there's going to be a riot. And if they lose, it's also going to be a riot. You know, and there are cities that are sports cities. You know what they do? When they know there's a Friday night game, the restaurants and the homes and everybody goes home early and boards up their windows because they know windows are going to get broken and cars are going to get damaged because there's a big game on Friday night. So what happens? It was just a game, but it got taken way too seriously. You made it a matter of life and death. You took it too far. What do we do in this life? Sometimes things are just small. They're not that big of a deal. But we zoom in on them and we make them so important. We make them into life and death. And we do so much damage because we made something small into something big. We lose our sense of proportion. Allah says this life is just like sports. It's just like games.